Hi there. Today I thought we would try some Scheurebe. So I've got here a bottle of Weingut Wittmann's 2019 Scheurebe Trocken, which is a Deutscher Qualitätswein. Wittmann, quite a historic producer from the Rheinhessen, particularly from the little town of Westhofen. We have an established date of 1663 on the label there, so you know they've been farming this land for a long time now. My reason for looking at Scheurebe was that we had somebody on one of our social media channels suggest to us that Scheurebe was a grape variety that wasn't very often seen on Wine Searcher. Well, I just checked the accuracy of that statement and found we had over 350 Scheurebes listed. So you know, there's plenty out there to try. We could certainly find some in New Zealand. Just to talk about the grape variety, Scheurebe is one of the more successful German crossings. It was bred by a viticulturist Georg Scheu back in 1915, so during the First World War, in Germany, and he was trying to cross Riesling with another grape variety, Silvaner. It turns out, these days through genetic profiling, we can look at grapes' DNA, that actually it's a crossing between Riesling and a grape variety called Bucherträuber, so something went wrong in the process there. But anyway, he selected this particular specimen 88, so sometimes the grape variety is called Samling 88, but more widely Scheurebe, after Dr. Scheu. And particularly after the Second World War in Germany, this was fairly widely planted. It probably makes up less than, or about 1% of Germany's grape vineyards these days. So it's more significant than many of the crossings, but not a huge proportion of their vineyards. Just in terms of its style, this is a wine that has lovely crispness. If we look at the colour there, it's a sort of a, I hope you can see that, a sort of a slightly green tinge to pale, almost water white colouring there. Give it a swirl. The aromas are on the less ripe end of the spectrum. They make me think of blackcurrant leaf, some of the pungentness of gooseberry or nettle or cut grass, that sort of almost sort of Sauvignon-like flavours on the less ripe end of their spectrum. There's perhaps also a tiny wee note of honey. There's a slight richness in there, maybe a little bit of floral perfume, sort of blossom, honeysuckle, that sort of notes there, but all quite restrained. Tasting the wine, it's got really lovely acidity. I wouldn't necessarily say mineral acidity. It doesn't taste stony. It tastes almost steely. There's a really sort of clean, fresh note to it. I mean, the wine is trocken, so it has to be dry. But I do wonder if there's within the designation of dry, you're allowed a few grams of sugar, and it does just seem as if there's just a tiny bit of sugar or just fruit richness just to take some of the harshness out of the wine. Again, you're getting that sort of slight, almost blackcurrant leaf note. There's a citrus note there, perhaps slightly less ripe grapefruit, slightly pungent. The flavours are long, the acidity carries it well. The alcohol is not particularly intrusive. I mean, this is not a low alcohol German wine. Some of them will start at sort of 7 or 8 degrees. This says it's 12% alcohol, but the alcohol doesn't intrude on the wine, and it's quite light-bodied. So you know, it would be easy for alcohol to take over and dominate. What you're left with on the finish of the wine, and the finish lasts very long, is this really sort of clean, fresh, slightly floral and also citrus notes that leave me with a mouth-watering feeling. This would be a lovely combination for foods to cut through rich sauces, or with, say, oily fish or something like that. So I I'd highly recommend Scheurebe. I think it's a difference from Riesling. It has its own characteristics. It's a delightful wine. So cheers everybody. Bye now.